Pleasant Wednesday evening to all. It is a beautiful Wednesday evening here in Queen City, Nevis, in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and it is the 11th day of October in the year 2023. Where are the weeks and the days and the months gone? It's almost Christmas. Yes, it's October. Can you believe that? Anyway, it's good to be back here on the On The Map program on this beautiful Wednesday evening. And of course, tonight I'll be sitting in for the regular host, the Honorable Mark Brantley, who's not with us here in the studios this evening. And so you have me tonight, Eric Evelyn, and I'll be sitting in. Of course, we know that this is a commercial-free talk show radio for 2 hours, going from 8 until 10. We're here every Wednesday night on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse, and of course, the show is rebroadcast on a Thursday from 1 until 3 p.m. So I want to say at the outset, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever part of the world you are. It's good to have you in tune and logged on to the Eastern Caribbean Powerhouse Vaughan Radio 860 on your AM dial, www.vaughanradio.com. And of course, we are live on Facebook as well. So I know a lot of persons and not only listen via radio, but they also log on via Facebook and they view online. So we want to welcome all of you who have joined us. Of course, we know this is a show that is widely listened to. So we have lots and lots of persons, not only in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, not only in the region, but throughout the diaspora, who always log on and tune in every Wednesday night. This is a show that persons look forward to very much, and we're always delighted to bring the show to you. So good night to all of you, whether you're in St. Kitts, Nevis, across the region, in the diaspora, wherever you are listening. It is a pleasure to have you in tune to On The Mark as usual. And of course, we go until 10 o'clock, a little later on. When we open the lines, you can get a chance to call in, put whatever you want on the table. If there's anything you may have heard on the show, if there's anything you want to put on the table, you will feel free to do so. A little later on, I'll also be having two guests with me. And of course, we know at the top of the show, we normally do some housekeeping matters. I have quite a bit of information to share with you as well tonight. So we ask you to stay tuned, stay logged on, stay with the Eastern Caribbean Powerhouse, stay with On The Mark. We go from 8 until 10. And so at the top of the show, we normally say good night and happy birthday, happy anniversary to whoever might be celebrating, whether you're celebrating today, whether you've celebrated earlier this week, whether you're celebrating later this week. We want to greet you from On The Mark and from the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse. And first and foremost, let me say good night and happy birthday to Mr. Joseph Liebert over there in Fothergills. Mr. Liebert, I know today is your birthday. I hope you had a great day so far, and I hope you're having a wonderful evening. I've been asked to say good night and happy birthday to Mr. Oscar Walters. Oscar is celebrating his birthday today. And Oscar, guess what? You have some special greetings coming from all the way, halfway around the world, from all the way in England, from your sister-in-law, Jackie Hanley Webb. Jackie, I know you're always listening, you're always logged on, and it doesn't matter what time of day or night it is in England, you are always there with us. So Jackie, I know that you're up, I know that you're listening, and of course I understand, Jackie, that your birthday is coming up on Sunday. And so, Jackie, we want to say advance birthday greetings to you. Of course, we know that you know how to celebrate. And, Jackie, every time I see you, you look younger. So I'm sure Sunday when your birthday comes, you're going to look 5 years younger. So, Oscar, happy birthday to you from Jackie. And, Jackie, we want to say happy birthday to you when your special day comes around on Sunday. Sandrine, you celebrated on Saturday, Sandrine Nolan. And I know you would have had a wonderful day as well. I guess maybe you're still celebrating. So hope you had a great day and continue to enjoy the rest of your birthday the month of October. I also want to say good night and belated birthday greetings to Humie, my good friend Humie Rollins over there in the Fothergills area. You celebrated yesterday. Hope you had a wonderful day. And to my good friend Vera Maloney right here in Bath, you're celebrating on Saturday. Vera, so enjoy your special day. And anyone who might be celebrating today, or as I said earlier this week or later this week, whether it's a birthday, anniversary, whatever the occasion, celebrate in style. Life is meant to be lived and to be lived to the fullest. So celebrate, don't be afraid to celebrate, and celebrate in style. Life is very fragile, so when we have it, we need to celebrate life. Of course, we want to say good night to those who might be a little bit under the weather, and so we normally say good evening, good night to the folks who are in the hospital, at the Alexandra Hospital, those of you in the homes, whether you're in the Flamboyant Nursing Home, whether you're in the St. George and St. John Senior Citizens Home there in Gingerland. We say good night to you. We hope that you're having a good night so far. And of course, we know persons actually, even though they might be in the hospital or in the homes, they love to listen to the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse. They love to listen to On the Mark. And so persons there are always listening as well. And so we say good night to you as well. Hope you've had a good day. And of course, we say good night to those who are taking such wonderful care of the persons, whether they're patients or the persons who are residing at the homes. We say good night to all of you as well. We trust you're going to have a good night. Continue to take such special care of the folks who are at the hospital or in the homes. And of course, we know that quite a lot of persons are in the bereaved column as well. And so we want to say good night and condolences from us here on the Mark. And we know it's not easy to lose a loved one, and so those of you who are mourning the loss of loved ones, we say good night and condolences to all of the family. We say condolences to the families of Olivia Mills Stapleton of Cox, to Marion Cynthia Bailey of St. James, Egbert Brown of Coal Hill, and Reginald Hector of Marion Avenue. And I want to say a special good night and condolences to the family of the late Mary Brown of River Path, who departed this life, who transitioned on Sunday night at the age of 106 years and 11 months. Did you hear that? 106 years and 11 months. Our dear departed Mary Brown of River Path. She was a gem of a lady, and I guess that's why God blessed her with such longevity to have reached 106. Of course, the family members were very anxious, very eager for her to reach 107. She would have reached 107 on the 1st of November. So she just fell short. She fell short by just a couple of weeks, or we could say a couple of days. And so the family of the late Mary Brown, she was such a beautiful soul, such a lovely lady, did so much for the Anglican Church, did so much for the community. She was someone in her day who was a seamstress, as the old people would say. She turned out a lot of brides, she made dresses and clothes for a lot of folks. And she used to bake her tarts and cakes, and was always giving to the church, always giving to her friends, always giving to her neighbors and her family members. And she was just a lovely lady, a very nice family lady. She would have raised many grandchildren and did an awesome job in doing that. And so she will be missed, and as I said, she would have made a sterling contribution as a family person, as a church member, as a community member. And so I want to say condolences to the entire family, especially to her son Richard and her daughter-in-law Denise over there in River Path. Denise, you did an amazing job looking after our dear departed sister Mary Brown. And of course, condolences in particular to 3 of the grandchildren who and me are close, Brian and Lanzo and Carolee. I know Mama Mem Brown, she did a great job raising you all, and of course I know that you all would miss her daily. And so we say condolences to the family of the late Mary Brown. We of course also want to say condolences to the family of the young man who lost his life yesterday, tragically, in Craddock Road. And of course, this is something that we do not like to speak about, because this is when persons die naturally, it's different. But when we have a homicide, when we have a murder, it touches a nerve that it affects the entire community. And so we were rocked, the entire Nivision community was rocked yesterday morning after 8 when we got this news that there was a shooting incident at Craddock Road and someone had lost his life. And so we say condolences to the family of Ibal Tyson of Low Street. And of course we want to make an appeal once again to our young people here on Nevis, in St. Kitts and Nevis, throughout the region, throughout the world, that gangs and guns and drugs is not the way to go. Whatever differences you all may have, people need to communicate. You need to settle your differences, and it just puts a stain on the community. Every time things settle down, you hear there's another murder, and this murder toll now for the federation, the small federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, has now climbed to 23 for the year, and we have 3 on the island of Nevis and 20 on St. Kitts, and those are way too much for a small nation like ours. And of course, when these things happen, as I said, it rocks the nation, it rocks the families who are affected, and the entire community. Of course, we know we depend so heavily on tourism, and this is not good for tourism, it's not good for the country, and it's not good for us. And so we are asking, we are begging, we are pleading with our young people to kindly please put down the guns. We need to live in peace and love. We need to done with the hatred and the animosity. You know, I listened to a preacher recently, and you know, she said something to the effect that hatred is almost like murder, because that is one step towards murdering somebody. You hate somebody to the extent that you would want to kill that person. And nowadays we have too much hatred in our society, and it's not good. And some asking persons, you may not have the intent to kill someone, but sometimes you hate people so much that you want to kill them, you want to harm them. And this is not the society that we grew up in many years ago. Where is the love? What, we have lost our way so very, very badly. Sometimes people just look at you and hate you for no reason whatsoever. And sometimes people who have this hatred and animosity going around with them are persons who go to church every Sunday. You know, and so we need a change in our mindset here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We need to get back to the way of living that we knew when we were growing up, when everybody looked out for each other, when we were a community that cared for each other, when we were a community that communicated with each other. Nowadays, people are not communicating with each other. People are in the same household and are not communicating with each other. If they want to talk to each other, they do it on the cell phone. They send one another WhatsApp from upstairs to downstairs. People are not communicating, and that is why sometimes we have all of these situations, because people have a little issue with each other, and they're going to find some other means of fixing the problem rather than communicating. So I'm begging, we're asking our young people, please, and getting involved in criminality is not the way to go, because often criminality gets you nowhere. It gets you either to prison or to the cemetery. And so we are begging once again from this rostrum here at the Eastern Caribbean Spa House, from On The Mark, to please let us try to live in unity and peace and harmony. We need more peace. This is a country where peace abounds, according to our national anthem. And so we want more peace to abound in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we want our young people in particular to help us to get that peace to abound in St. Kitts and Nevis. I mean, there's so much more I can say, but I'm going to leave it there for now. As I said, there's a lot of information that I have to impart tonight, and I also have some guests in the studio, and they will have some information to impart as well. So let me just continue with some of the information that I have here for us for this evening. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate, we're going from sad to a little bit of better news now. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate the Republic of China on Taiwan on its National Day, which was celebrated on yesterday, the 10th of October. And of course, the Embassy of the Republic of China on Taiwan, they hosted a lovely reception in St. Kitts at the Marriott Resort on Monday evening from 6 o'clock. And of course, I had the privilege to be in attendance. Most of our cabinet members had the privilege to be in attendance. And as I said, it was a wonderful event, and we want to congratulate the Republic of China on Taiwan. They have been our friends. They've been our allies for 40 years. We just celebrated 40 years of independence. And the Republic of China on Taiwan, they have been there with us from day one. I understand that we established diplomatic relations just 3 weeks after we gained political independence. And so we salute the people of the Republic of China on Taiwan, the ambassador here, Michael Lin, and your entire team here, and of course those back home. We say congratulations. It was quite a wonderful and a moving event that was hosted there at the Marriott. And I also want, while I'm talking about the National Day of Taiwan, to congratulate the folks here on Nevis who have been so busy learning Mandarin. And it's amazing. It's amazing what we heard on Monday evening. We want to congratulate Miss Jada John, who actually won a Mandarin speech competition that was held among several nations, and Jada John came out the winner. So Jada, congratulations to you. And of course we were blessed and we were graced with this beautiful rendition. And when we before we go to that, when we heard Jada speaking Mandarin on Monday night, and when you listen to her and when you look at her on that video, she sounds just like someone from Taiwan or from China. You know, and that's the magic of what we've been doing here on the island of Nevis for the past 2 years or so, where we've had this Mandarin teacher, Miss Chen Chi, who I would like to congratulate for doing such an outstanding job with our students and adults as well. And so we had this lovely song that was done by Anessa Monroe and Ajurni Hodge. Beautiful singing and well done, and we want to say congratulations to them as well. And during the celebration there on Monday night as well, we also had the announcement of the winners of the stamp competition that was held as a part of the 40th anniversary of independence. And the winners of the stamp competition are: the first place, Lord Swaver Anukam; second place, Aisha Maynard; third place, Uta Taylor; and fourth place, Jamila Fraser. And so we say heartiest congratulations to all those persons, those winners for the stamp competition as well. Of course, we would have spoken about Jada and Nessa and Ajurni, and to all of the persons who have been doing an outstanding job in learning Mandarin and doing so in such very short space of time. I also want some in the congratulatory mood to congratulate Mr. Colin Bowen Tuckett, who of course is one of our rising stars in cricket, and he is presently in Antigua with the West Indies Academy, and they're doing some training there, and I think they'll be taking on the Island Academy as well. So Colin Bowen Tuckett, all the very best in your training there in Antigua. And of course, I want to say heartiest congratulations to the Joycelyn Liburd Primary School. The Joycelyn Liburd Primary School is celebrating its 45th anniversary. And this is a school that has really made a mark. Certainly made a mark on the landscape of Nevis, not only Nevis, but so many persons who have passed through this institution that are making such a contribution not only to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, but throughout the region and globally as well. And so they had a wonderful service there at the Gingerland Methodist Church this past Monday, the 9th of October, and they're celebrating under the theme Connecting Communities, Maintaining Relationships, Promoting Wholesome Maturity and Resiliency. And fortunately, I was a part of that ceremony. I was asked to chair the service on Monday, and of course I want to thank the staff there at the Joycelyn Liburd Primary for affording me this opportunity to be the chairperson of that service. Of course, during the service, we had remarks by the principal, Miss Akila Brand, by the Honorable Troy Liburd, the Minister of Education. We had a performance by the Honeybee String Band. We had a poem by past Principal Barbara Hendrickson that was read by a past student, Shalisa Brown. We had some reflections by a past Principal, Mrs. Marion Lescott, and we had a lovely sermonette by Reverend Mark Christmas. That's just some of what took place during the service. And of course, what happened during the service is that they were trying to feature persons who would have passed through the institution, past students, past teachers, and it was indeed a wonderful service. And I have to say here, I would have said it at the service, and I have to say here as well, that this is an institution that we cannot underestimate. This institution has produced persons in every profession, and persons who are making such a solid contribution to the development of our beautiful federation. I made the point that of our 7 cabinet members, our 7 present cabinet members, 4 of our cabinet members had their foundation at the primary level in Gingerland. The Premier himself, the Honourable Mark Brantley, myself as the Deputy Premier, the Honourable Troy Liburd as the Minister of Education, and our Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Stedman Truss. And of course we want to say thanks once again and heartiest congratulations to the Joyston Liburd Primary School. Continue to do what you're doing. You're doing an awesome job as an educational institution. We want to say a hearty thank you to you. Keep up the fantastic work, and congratulations to, of course, to the current principal, the deputy principal, the staff, and the students of that institution. Now, October is a very, very busy month. I don't know why so many things are happening in the month of October. There are many other months that are free of not many activities, or free of some activities, but the month of October every year is always too packed. It's always too filled, and so people are stretched, including myself. Of course, all of us as cabinet members, we're always stretched in the month of October in particular, because there's so many things happening, and a lot of the times we have to be involved in many of these activities. And so I just wanted to highlight a few of the activities here this evening that are happening in the month of October. And of course, we know some of them would have gone already. Of course, this month is the month that we're celebrating our seniors. They have been doing some activities. I would have attended the seniors march last Friday, and they're doing several other activities during the month, which you will hear more about. This is the month that we celebrate our teachers. This is the month that we are celebrating World Food Day, and of course the celebration is being spearheaded by the department and the Ministry of Agriculture. And of course this year the theme for World Food Day is water is life, water is food, leave no one behind. Water is life, water is food, and that is a fact. Water is food as well. Leave no one behind. And every year for World Food Day, of course, World Food Day is about ending hunger, right? And every year for World Food Day, the Department of Agriculture and the Ministry of Agriculture, we normally put a few activities together. And I just wanted to highlight a few of the activities that will be taking place for World Food Day this year. Of course, World Food Day is celebrated annually on the 16th of October. The 16th of October this year is next week, Monday. And so we have a week of activities that have been planned for the week, and we start on Monday the 16th with the minister's address, and we have staff devotions, and that will be taking place at the Lawrence and Parry Depot there in Prospect. Previously we used to try to go to church together, but many of our staff members didn't come to church, and so we decided to bring church to the staff. We did it last year for the first time. It worked well. All of the staff members were there because it is a working day and persons are expected to be at work. And so this year again we're doing staff devotions at the Lawrence and Parry Depot there in Prospect. On Tuesday the 17th we're airing a documentary on the theme for this year. On Wednesday the 18th, that is called Water Wednesday, when we're doing that in collaboration with the Health Promotions Unit, I think, and they're going to be having water infused or infused water specials at different locations around the island. On Thursday the 19th we have what is called Water Conservation Day, and we also have a walkthrough for the school agro competition. A couple of weeks ago we would have launched the school agro competition at the St. Thomas's Primary School, where a number of our primary schools are taking part in a competition that would have started last year. So this is the second year running for the school agro competition. I understand last year it went very well, and so they decided to do it again this year. And so we say congratulations to those who are taking part, all the very best. We trust and hope that your gardens are already on the way and looking well, and so we're going to be doing a walkthrough in terms of visiting the schools that are taking part in the competition on Thursday the 19th, and then our major event takes place on Friday the 20th, and that is our World Food Day Agri Fest. Every year we try to have a major event for World Food Day, whether it's a food fair, whether it's an intercultural food fair, an event that centers around food, because as I said, World Food Day is all about ending hunger worldwide. And so our main event takes place on Friday, the 20th of October, and it's the World Food Day Agri Fest, and it's happening at the Villa grounds. The admission is free, so you don't have to worry about paying anything to come to the Villa. You normally pay a little small fee when we have the big exhibition, but it's going to be free, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. And at the Agri Fest, you're going to hear more about it next week again for On the Mark as well. But for the Agri Fest, we'll be featuring local food, fruits and vegetables, meat, craft, cosmetics, ornamentals, technical demonstrations and displays. We'll also have the bouncing castle and other features as well. So we're asking you next week, Friday, to make plans now to be at the Villa grounds from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. for the Department of Agriculture organized World Food Day Agri Fest. And of course, we know the Department of Agriculture has an excellent reputation, a great track record, and anything that the Department and the Ministry of Agriculture organize, it is always well put together, and so you can come expecting a good showcase next week, Friday, the 20th of October for our AgriFest. And so we are looking forward to seeing you. We normally get excellent support, and we are looking forward to that support again come next Friday. Now, as I said, there are lots of things happening in the month of October. This is also Mental Health Awareness Month, and they're having a number of activities. They're having a walk on Saturday, October the 14th, starting at 5:30 a.m. and they will start in the Malcolm Gishard Park, go on take the bypass road, come back onto the main road there by the gas station, and take the main road back into town and back to the Malcolm Gishard Park. So if you want to walk, if you want some exercise, you can do that on Saturday. Of course, they had another walk this past Saturday. It was an island walk, and I did part of it as well. I was able to walk from Market Shop straight to the Fit Park, and it was just it was just a cup of tea for me. And so those of you who want to walk on Saturday, that's an opportunity for you to walk as well. October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and sadly, a number of our young people are coming down with breast cancer here on the island of Nevis. And we are asking once again, we are begging persons, our young ladies, to kindly get your checks. Early detection saves lives, and so we're asking you to kindly get your checks. And because this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the Ministry of Health, they have organized breast exam scheduled for the entire month of October from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. And these for the different health centers, we have Cotton Ground Health Center on Mondays, Combermere Health Center on Tuesdays, Gingerland and Butler's Health Centers on Thursdays, and the Charlestown Health Center on Fridays. Let me repeat that. Cotton Ground Health Center on Mondays, Combermere Health Center Tuesdays, Gingerland and Butler's Health Centers on Thursdays, and Charlestown Health Center on Fridays. And of course, we also want, I know the Premier has mentioned this many times, and I'm going to mention it again. Of course, we know that we have been very proactive where healthcare is concerned on the island of Nevis. And we think, we believe, and we know it is a fact that healthcare is at its best that it has ever been on the island of Nevis. It at its best. We have acquired so many pieces of equipment that are available at the Alexandra Hospital, and one of that piece of equipment is a mammogram machine. And of course, we are asking ladies once again to take advantage. You can get use of the machine free of cost for the rest of this year until December, until the end of December. All you need to do to go to your doctor, get a referral, and go and get your free mammogram done at the Alexandra Hospital. If you wait until January 2024, you'll have to pay. and so you need to take advantage of it once while it is free now. And so we're asking you, please, to take advantage. Early detection saves lives. We've been having a lot of cancer cases, not only breast cancer but all kind of cancers, and so persons need to try to take care of themselves. When there's an opportunity for you to get screened, we're asking you to do so, and please do not wait. Make sure you take advantage of the screening, and a lot of the time the screening is free. Once again, ladies, the mammogram machine is at your disposal for free until the end of December. Please take advantage. And since we're talking about the health, of course, I just spoke about the service that is available at the health centers. I just want persons to be aware that tomorrow the health centers will be closed from 12 noon to facilitate a staff development session. And so if you're thinking of going to the health center tomorrow afternoon, any of the health centers, all of the health centers will be closed tomorrow, the 12th of October, Thursday the 12th of October from 12 noon. And so you would not be able to access any services at the health centers tomorrow from 12 noon. And so the staff of the community nursing service, they apologize for any inconvenience that this may cause. And the final thing I want to talk about tonight, because I said there's so much to talk about, but the final thing I absolutely must speak about tonight is dengue fever. And of course, we know that I'm sure those of us who have been following the news know that unfortunately, we have some dengue cases here in the Federation. And so I am going to read this press release that came out from the Office of the Chief Medical Officer on St. Kitts. And if you can bear with me, please, it's some very pertinent information which I think everyone should listen to. And the release reads, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis recently experienced an increase in rainfall associated with the passage of Tropical Storm Philippe. Increase in rainfall is often associated with an increase in mosquito vector levels and an increase in risk of spread of mosquito-related diseases such as dengue, Zika, and chikungunya. The Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, has reported an upsurge in laboratory-confirmed cases of dengue in the region, and dengue outbreaks have been reported in 3 CARPHA member states. Dengue viral infection is caused by the dengue virus, which is transmitted mainly by female mosquitoes of the species Aedes aegypti, which is prevalent in the Federation. St. Kitts and Nevis is at risk for a dengue outbreak. Therefore, it is imperative that the Ministry of Health, through the environmental health departments, augment or strengthen its mosquito surveillance efforts or activities to reduce the risk of mosquito-related diseases like dengue. Locally, the Ministry of Health reported 3 laboratory-confirmed cases of dengue during last week. And I can say here 2 in St. Kitts and 1 on Nevis. Dengue is a flu-like illness that affects infants, young children, and adults. So it affects everyone. Symptoms usually begin 4 to 10 days after being bitten by a dengue-infected mosquito. The symptoms include high fever, headaches, pain behind the eyes, muscle and joint pains, and skin rash. The illness can evolve into severe dengue, characterized by intense and continuous abdominal pain, persistent vomiting, and mucosal bleeding. Affected persons should access medical care at the nearest health center or hospital if they occur. The most effective way to avoid getting sick from viruses spread by mosquitoes is to prevent mosquito bites. We can mitigate the impact and spread of dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases by taking the following 10 actions. 1. Protect yourself by using personal repellents on skin and clothes. 2. Use bed nets if adult mosquitoes are prevalent. 3. Wear protective clothing like long pants and long sleeve tops. 4. Protect your home by using screens for doors and windows. 5. Protect your homes, schools, and offices by disposing of all bottles, cans, and water-holding containers in an approved refuse bin with appropriate covers. Keep lawn, grass, and vegetation trimmed. 6. Change and replenish water in vases daily. 7. Change and replenish pet and animal drinking troughs daily. 8. Store all used and new tires in a dry place. 9. Report any body of stagnant water to the local environmental health department. So if you live in an area and there's a body of stagnant water, whether it's by your neighbor or wherever it is, you need to report that to the environmental health department, because that will be an excellent place for mosquitoes to breed. And finally, 10, if you are experiencing fever, joint pains, pain behind the eyes, and a rash, you should seek medical care at your nearest health facility, whether it's a health center or at the hospital. Individually and collectively, we have a responsibility to do our part in reducing the mosquito breeding sites to contain the spread of dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases. Let us take action to maintain the health and wellness of our people. And this press release came from the Office of the Chief Medical Officer, and it's dated Saturday the 7th of October. And just briefly as well, I just want to inform persons here on Nevis that because of the threat of the dengue fever, and of course, you know, we have the Aedes aegypti mosquito here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, here on Nevis, where the Ministry of Health has embarked on some fogging exercises. And so they would have done some fogging this afternoon in the Charlestown area. Tomorrow they will be doing some fogging in Bath Village and surrounding areas. The fogging will be done in the afternoon, and of course it is being done when the mosquitoes are most active, and I understand that is the period between 5 and 7 p.m. and we are asking persons within these areas where the fogging is being done to please open your windows and your doors so that the smoke can get into your houses, and in case there are adult mosquitoes inside, they can kill them. Now we also want to inform, because persons have been asking whether or not the fogging will be done in other parts of the island. I think that is the intent of the Ministry of Health, but for now it has started in the Charlestown, and as I said, tomorrow it will be done in the Bath Village and surrounding areas. So that is a notice. So if you see the truck coming around to do the fogging, we ask you to cooperate. The scent may not be the most pleasant, but it will not harm you. It is intended to kill the mosquitoes that can harm you. And so we are asking for your full support with the fogging. Please open your homes so that the fog can get inside. And of course, we have, as I said, we have one confirmed case of dengue on Nevis, and we don't want any more. We don't want any more in St. Kitts either. We don't want any more in the Federation. The good thing about it is not a contagious disease, and so if you have the dengue, you cannot spread it to someone. It has to be from the bite of an infected mosquito, and that is why it is so important for us to do what was just outlined here, where we can try to keep the mosquitoes at bay. We can kill the adult mosquitoes and try to stay and keep St. Kitts and Nevis as dengue free as possible. That has been a mouthful, but as I said, it was very important that I share all of this very, very important information with members of the public, and we trust that you will take heed. Those that you have to act on, we ask you to act on them. And so now it's 20 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. Of course, once again, if you're just joining us, you're in tune to the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse, Vaughan Radio 860 on your AM dial, www.vaughanradio.com. And of course, we are also live on Facebook, and we know that a lot of persons are already in tune, are already logged on. And so I did indicate earlier that I have two guests in the studios with me. It's always good when I have guests. I don't like to be here alone. I like when I have company. And so I have two guests in the studios with me tonight, and they're here. They're going to be discussing a particular topic. And so I'm indeed delighted and privileged to have these two persons who are here with me, and they're going to be discussing. They are from the Disaster Management Department, and I understand that they have organized. As I said, October is packed, and so they're now here to discuss some other activities that are being held and will be held in the month of October. And so it seems that though persons will have to cut themselves in 2 and 3 and 4 in order to attend all of these activities, because some of these activities will be taking place simultaneously. And so the activities are competing. You have to decide what you're going to attend. Maybe you can spend a couple minutes at one, spend a couple minutes at the other, and make sure that you show your face to as many of these activities as possible. But whatever we can patronize, we are asking persons to patronize. And so once again, I'm delighted that I have two guests in the studios with me. I am going to allow them to introduce themselves, and so I'm going to go over to my right, and I'm going to ask the young lady to go first. I don't know if you've ever been to the studios of One Radio. I know the gentleman on my right. He has been here several times, so he's no stranger. And so I'm going to ask the young lady to go first.
Good night. My name is Whitney Glassford. I am the Community Liaison Officer at the Navy's Disaster Management.
Whitney Glassford?
Whitney Glassford, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Whitney, it's good to have you. Is your first time to Bond Radio?
Yes, it is.
Well, welcome. I hope you'll have a wonderful experience, and I hope it will not be your last. Okay? Because here at Bond Radio, only the best will do. And so people normally have a good experience once they step into the studios of the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse. And now I am going to ask the gentleman to my immediate right to introduce himself, who is not a stranger to the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse anyway.
Good evening, as usual. I'm Jacob Goomba, commonly known as Jack, and I'm the Deputy Director and also the Communications Coordinator for the Navy's Disaster Management Department. Fantastic.
And so you all are here this evening to discuss a particular day and some activities surrounding that day. I don't know who's going to go first, but maybe you all can just give us a little background as to why you're here. What is the significance of the day that you're talking about, and some of the activities that may have gone before and some of the activities that are coming up. I know I did your boss, Mr. Brian, I was here a couple of weeks ago when I was on, and we spoke at length about many things, including when Philippe was about to come our way and that kind of stuff, and the storms and so on, and the heat, of course. And so I don't know who's going to go first and tell us why you're here tonight.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. Just like you would have highlighted other activities, Mental Health Day, etc., so too we have International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. Same time, 13th of October. And the origin of this date, that would have started since in 1989 with the approval by the United Nations General Assembly. The UN General Assembly sees the IDDR, which is International Day for Disaster Reduction, as a way to promote a global culture of disaster reduction, including disaster prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. Now, in 2023, the theme for the year is fighting inequalities for a resilient future. However, looking at that theme, we would have focused on a particular note which stated we can curb the destructive power of hazards. In other words, stop them from turning into disasters through careful and coordinated planning that is designated to reduce people's exposure and vulnerability to harm. From this note, it now urged the Navy's disaster management to come up with a local theme, and that local theme is building community resilience through education while managing our multi-hazard environment. So from this, an entire month of activities have been put in place, and that is where Miss Whitney Glasgow will also emphasize on some of the sweet, juicy activities we have as well. So we both will be intertwining on the activities that runs through the month. But everything is capitalized on the foundation I would have just given.
Okay, before you go in, you go delve a little further in. You're talking about the International Day of Disaster Risk Reduction, and you just mentioned the term multi-hazard environment.
Great.
Normally, here in Nevis, most of the times when people hear about disaster, when people hear about hazard, they mostly think about hurricane or maybe earthquake. They don't think about anything else.
Great.
But you just said multi-hazard, so it means that there are many. So tell us some of the hazards that we face that we may not be so much aware of.
That is a very important point you would have touched. As a matter of fact, before even getting into that, St. Kitts Nevis is among the Leeward Islands, where it is known as the most vulnerable zone in terms of natural hazards in the world.
In the world?
In the world, yes, in terms of susceptibility to natural hazards. St. Kitts Nevis escaping much of these hazards, I would say, is the grace of God, because we are known for that. Unfortunately, as you would have rightly stated, focus has mainly been on hurricane and earthquake because of the fact that few of its occurrences would have taken place. The Nevis Disaster Management took upon itself to set up a calendar of events from January through to December, just to highlight potential natural hazard that can impact the island. And these hazards for January, it focuses on earthquake. February, it focuses on landslides. March, tsunami. April, volcano. May, drought. June, hurricane, which runs through to November. July, excessive heat. We all can talk about the heat. You feel like you're on the barbecue grill.
I know.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
In August, we also look at coastal erosion. If we ask the persons of yesteryears, they will tell you the land used to extend further into the sea. Now it's just having bald head, as someone told me. Yes. So, and in the month of September, of course, it's flood. Then October, which we are now, is a comprehensive which brings all together. November focuses on storm surge, and December fire. So if we look at it, 11 hazards have been highlighted to ensure that every year persons are reminded of them and to know what to do before, during, and after.
Fantastic. But that's quite a lot of information. I know a lot of information has always been disseminated, but whether or not our people here in the Federation, and specifically here on Nevis, whether they have been taking heed, whether they have been listening, whether they've been trying to be educated on all of these hazards, I hope that they are. But so we can probably talk more about the activities now and what we are hoping to gain from doing these activities for this day of International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction.
Yeah.
Competition first. Go to competition first.
Oh, okay. So, what happens, especially the activities, we would have started with a church service. I like how you put it. You say, if persons don't come to church, we take church to them. Yes, the good thing, at least NDMD staff went to church. So, it was at the Edinburgh Church of God. And, of course, it's interesting, our minister was there, and after he spoke, we didn't know who else was the preacher, because he spoke more than the preacher. That was really sound. And the next activity that took place was the double wicket cricket, and it went on so well. With that, each of the cricket team took the name of a hazard. I want us to understand that our key idea behind this, as we would have seen on the theme, educating while managing our multi-hazard environment, is to bring forth the message of the hazard exposure through games, what we call edutainment. So while they were playing, this team was drought. I'm sure drought won. Something like that, yes. So
I hope that is not an indication that we're going to have a drought next year.
At least they won earthquake. So earthquake is yes. So that is what would have happened. Now on Saturday, that day coming on
And that took place where? The VOGN grounds, I believe?
VOGN ground, that was where
Okay.
it took place. So on Saturday, which will be at the Malcolm Gisha Park, is going to be a multi approach where we have the schools, the health department, and other games. And it's so unique because each of the activities have a sense of focus. So I'm going to start with the schools. When we look at the schools, a calendar of event has already been done, especially for the primary schools, where from January through to December, each school highlights a particular hazard. So now we're setting a competition for the schools to showcase that hazard. I really want to emphasize that it is not so much about a competition, but it's so much about the dissemination of their messaging. So when we come, before we think of who won, let us be educated by each of them. Let that be our main goal. So each of the schools will now have a tent highlighting their hazards, and they will do an expose on what to do before, during, and after, and just a little in-depth of that hazard and explaining to us their evacuation route. So that is where those evaluators will now determine who did well in terms of their creativity, etc. But again, I emphasize all of them are winners because they are our participatory channels to pass across our messaging. So let the focus be on that. No one should say you didn't do well, you didn't do this. The key thing is by the time you leave that place, what did you learn? That is where we are emphasizing on. So the schools, I even take the time to encourage them. The students are to come with their PE uniform at the top in order to identify the schools, and they should be there by 12 p.m. The school bus will go around the schools from 10:45. So we encourage the students to be there waiting like 10:30.
And how many students might be representing each school?
In that case, we
Six students and a teacher.
Three students and a teacher.
Six students
Okay.
and a
one
teacher.
And are all of the primary schools taking part?
All the primary schools.
What about the secondary schools?
The secondary schools, the reason why they will not take part this year is because the scope of our calendar has not yet included them.
Okay.
So next year for sure, they will get it, and their competition will want it to be a little more advanced than that of the children. So we don't have all of them having the same criteria.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, so we have many games for family. So we have some animal rides for the kids, some dart game, bumper balls, which are the balls that you go in and you bump each other
Yes.
with. The shooting gallery, we have a team domino competition, softball cricket, and a five-a-side football game. We also have a game called the Recycle Free Throw game, which is a plastic bottle recycling game where participants compete to see who can free throw the most plastic bottle into a recycling drum from 3 distance. And each distance points will vary. And with all these things, everybody will win a prize.
Great.
Attractive prizes? I hope.
Yes. Yes.
There's a first aid scavenger hunt where persons will go around the park where we will be hiding different stuff, and you will have to pick up different stuff, and these stuff will be based on the item you're taking to the shelter. So you cannot have more than one, you cannot have less, those things. We also have a first aid triage game. This is more for a person with first aid knowledge, because we will have like a picture in an area where the persons will determine in which order of priority they will provide treatment to the persons injured. We also have a game called the Match the Item to its bin, where you will use recyclable items and you will use it to stick on the recycle bin, whether it be metal, plastic, or general household item. We also have a bouncy castle, and those are some of the few games that we will have there.
Okay, all right. So you are doing things there to target an audience, a wide cross section. You're doing things to target everyone of every age group and every age category. Right?
Yes.
Now, how well has this activity been promoted? Because, of course, you seem to have you all seem to have been very busy organizing all of these activities. And, of course, when you organize these activities, you want people to show up.
Great.
And so what have you all been doing to promote the activity to ensure that people show up on Saturday?
Great. Much of the activities, if we look at it, especially the first, is heavily school-based. And with that, a lot has been done moving from one school to the next, having that going on, and also setting what I call a media package to the Media Association. What we were trying to also avoid was to do what we call information overload, where by the time you bombard all at once, persons end up getting mixed up and the risk of even intertwining with the dates. So what will be happening now, since on the ground key persons know what to do or what is coming ahead, we now start highlighting few days to time to say, okay, it is this one coming, so they now they don't get a mix-up. For example, when it was a cricket match, someone was asking me, is it the day for the fun day? I said, no, it's not the fun day, it's a cricket. Yes, and as you know, several dates are there just flowing and flowing, so it's really that challenge. Nivis is small, which helps in terms of one-on-one. And above all, being here today, which of course is a powerhouse.
Oh yes, and everybody listens to on the mark.
Trust me, I will call it the widest, the largest platform, and that
and the best.
You said it all. You pulled the word out.
Because only the best will do at Von Radio.
Yes. So that really will help us on it. Yes. And to go further, is there more on that? Should I go further on the other days?
Before you leave the fund, because I believe this is your main activity, right? For your activities that you're having.
Great, that fund day.
That fund day is the main activity. I know you mentioned the students should get ready for a particular time. What time does the activity start? What time does it end? Is there an admission fee? Are you going to be using the grounds only? Are you going to be using the inside of the park, the building? Tell us more.
Okay, so we'll be using the entire park, including the building.
Including the building?
Yes, because we will be having a health fair.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And on the outside was where all the games will be. The game starts at 10 o'clock, so we'll be starting with the softball, cricket, and the domino competition at the same time.
Now, I know the domino competition is something that lasts forever.
Yes, that's why we started first.
That's why it starts early.
So it starts at 10. The domino competition starts at 10 then. And I know our domino enthusiasts out there, they always want to know how much money they're going to win.
Trust me.
That is the main question they always have. So what's at stake for the domino competition?
So for the domino competition, the first prize is $1,200 and the second prize is $800.
Okay, so it's the first and second.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to go to second and third and fourth. Yes. Yes. Because no, she's right. Originally, that is a prize, but feedback came recently, like just first and third. Try and take it down.
I told these domino players go. They're not gonna sell for a little bit, you know.
Yes, they really. So they were like, at least so we get more persons winning those things. So first, second, third, fourth. But originally, as she said, it was first and second.
And of course, you say you have a softball competition as well.
Yes.
That's gonna be happening on the outside as well. And the tents are gonna be set up on the outside.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
for the schools.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, fantastic. So, well, it sounds like a game plan for Saturday. As I said, a lot of things are happening on Saturday as well, but I know once you advertise well, I did mention about a walk that starts at the same park on Saturday at 5:30. But of course, I am believing by about 6:30, 7 o'clock, everybody should be back there with that walk anyway. So, of course, as I said, this is a month that a lot of things are happening, and you'll have some competition. So I'm hoping that you get a very good turnout come Saturday for that fun day. As you said, that is the main activity for the Day for Disaster Risk Reduction.
Yes, so as it continues, the following week, guess what? We'll be having a grand gospel concert. And let me focus on that first. So with that, what will happen, this concert is going to still be an edutainment where it's going to focus on our faith-based component. So intertwining with the concert, all the key pastors that follows our calendar from January to December will now feature in their public service announcement. So after 1-2 items, a PSA comes in for 30 seconds. So you will now get pastors educating, not just a journalist. Yes, so we really find that so great. The number one artist or guest artist is one from St. Kitts, whom we call Ministering One, a young, vibrant artist. Yes, he's going to shake up the place. And it's important to note that that concert will have a representative from the Disaster Risk Reduction Office in Barbados, which is the regional office called SEDIMA. Yes, so he'll be there in person to witness this initiative, as well as some other persons from St. Kitts connected to disaster management. So this concert, where will it hold? At the Edinburgh Church of God. That's where we'll be at exactly 7 p.m. Exactly 7 p.m. is going to start. We want it to end.
We will wait to see that.
We want to see that goes on and ends well. So quite a lot is going on, but those key things, as we all see, and one thing we need to know is that the games she has that she mentioned, all of them along the line are educational. Yes, the containers, you find the disaster management cycle. So I want, why persons are participating, they should be mindful, like, what is it to learn from this game? There is so much. Yes, so while the fund is going, it has had that purpose of educating the general public on the hazards and safety in general.
I know, I think last year I would have attended the concert at, it was held at NEPAC. Any particular reasoning why you have a gospel concert as part of the activities?
It's very, very important on that, because when we look at the role of the church, the truth be told, the church plays the biggest disaster management role from the eternal approach, saving people from the lake of fire, and the mitigation is accepting Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. So if the church is very keen on the spiritual safety, it has to reflect too on the physical safety. Look in the Bible, hurricane, Jesus says the wise man built his house upon the rock. When the hurricane came, it stood. The foolish one built on the sand. The hurricane came, it dropped. When we look at flood, Noah built the ark. When we look at drought, Joseph was the very first person to set up a mitigation plan against drought. So the Bible has endorsed disaster management safety more than any other book as we can look at. So in this case, unfortunately, the church usually gets involved only when it has happened. Then either they give water, they give, little things, as opposed to them being involved in the whole process from mitigation all through. So that is why we are bringing it in this direct approach.
So you're saying rather than they being reactive, they have to be proactive. As you rightly indicated, of course, like if you have a disaster, if you have a hurricane, the churches would get involved in terms of giving out food packages and water and so on. But it's always good when you can do things before they happen and make people more aware.
Excellent.
Okay. So that's where the church is coming in. That's fantastic. Okay. Other activities?
Very, very important. Immediately after the concert, we now have 2 key trainings. And
so during the concert, you mentioned that you will have an artist from St. Kitts.
Yes.
You care to tell us who are the other featured artists who will be part of the concert?
I always like to whet people's appetite, but we always have our own local artists, people like Miss Camilla Lawrence. I think I'll keep more of the suspense, but guess what? The concert is really loaded with the best on the island in the gospel milieu. Just come and witness it. So from the first, you're surprised to see the next, you're surprised to see the next and the next. I can guarantee you, you are not going to regret it.
And I assume it is free of cost.
It is free. And we're just thinking of getting a love offering. Yes, but it's free. It's very free.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
And again, when they come, after being blessed by the good singing, they should be mindful of the PSAs. Seeing their various pastors, you know, the pastor of New Testament, we talk on flood, pastor.
So you're actually saying that during the concert, you're going to be having pastors doing
Yes.
PSAs right there on the spot,
Is-
since you have the captive audience.
Great. And
Okay.
this is already edited, so it's going to be digital.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
so to ensure it doesn't pass the 30 seconds. So everything is well shaped and put on in place.
Fantastic. It's well coordinated. Of course, you, as I said, you have the captive audience there, and while they're there to sit back and listen to all these great artists, you're going to be giving some education as well.
Perfect. That is the dream and the goal.
Fantastic.
Yes. So following that will be a disaster community communications training. And this is very, very vital, because whenever there is an adverse event, what is it that plagues the place? Rumors, wrong information, and that affects a lot of decision by individuals and families. By the time they would have settled to know what is really the right thing, most of them would have already been misled by that. Now, how do you make that possible? We now decided to ensure that there are trained communications volunteers in all the 5 parishes. And these persons will be active. And immediately after the training, it's good to give a little background on this training.
Yes.
This training is more of a 5-year block, where you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, up to phase 5. When they reach the phase 5, they will now be able to train the trainers, where they become trainers themselves. And what is it that it focuses on? About 6 to 7 key pillars. First is public relations. Next is database and research. The third is message formation with creativity and marketing. Because what we have suffered with disaster management is first of all not one of those juicy, sexy topics. So how do you get the audience to enjoy the message? It has to be packaged to suit the teenagers, suit the young person, suit all. So that's where that component comes in. And also incident command system. Then it goes further to telecommunications. And when we go ahead, we have things like AI involvement. You like it or not, AI is leading.
I know.
Yes, so this component which I have touched, truth be told, unfortunately, they are always being fragmentized or segmentalized. You want to, if you come to disaster management office, for instance, and ask, I need to get the statistics of young boys who were impacted by Hurricane XYZ this year, this month. Oh, hold on, let's go to statistics. Statistics say, oh, let's go to health. Health says, let's go to the police. And it takes forever.
I know.
So the database centralization now is something which, with the click of a button, this comes. So when this kind of knowledge is groomed or set forth with from our volunteers, it makes it much easier in data collection during adverse events time. We'll just be in the office, and the volunteers at St. John's Parish can easily feed us because they have been trained. They are not just doing it mixed with rumors, but they do it now professionally. So that is the goal for this training. And we intend to get 6 from each parish, which is the 23rd and the 24th for the introductory course. As if that is not enough, on the 25th, we will now have what they call the student ambassadors, disaster communications ambassador student. If you, as you would have known, every last week of the month, you find those students who kept talking, representing their hazard and primary school, grade 6. Will it be wise to just leave them like that? No. That it's inspired the formation of the same thing that will be done at the community to be at the schools. These children now will be trained on similar topics until they reach the fifth form where they become trained trainers. It will not only help them in their academic development like research and all of that, but it will just prepare them as candidates for the world in their public speaking, in their broadcasting skills, all of that. So that training will be on the 25th. Facilitators will come from St. Lucia, Barbados, and St. Vincent, including my humble self.
So how do you go about recruiting volunteers? Because I know we live in a society now where volunteers are scarce.
Tell me about
People don't want to volunteer anymore. Everybody wants to get paid.
Correct.
What if they move a pen from here to there? They want to be paid, and not just paid, but paid big money. And people just do not want to volunteer anymore. How do you go about recruiting? Are you having a hard time recruiting the volunteers?
The good thing about it is the Nevis disaster management since from the year of 2014. Mr. Brian Dyer and Mr. Abdiel Samuel would have started a set training, and it's interesting to know that even our honorable Spencer Brand was one of the persons.
Yeah, I remember that cohort, because I remember there were several persons from Gingerland, my constituency, who were trained.
Trust me, it was really, really great. So out of that, we had 100 and something persons. And truth be told, these persons, majority of them have still made themselves available till this day. So it's always so easy to get to that pool and drop the request. Like the very first pre-test for the same thing, which the training was in 2016. When that was done, in the space of 3 days, we had 25 persons. Yes, so I must applaud those set members. They really seem to have disaster management at heart by their response each time we request them. I just pray the employers will collaborate to release them for the 2 days.
Well, I think it's for a good cause. I don't see any reason why the employees would not cooperate with you all.
Great. Thanks.
Before we go, because I saw some questions online about the process. So persons can come at the disaster management for the registration form, and registration for the soccer, softball, and the domino competition is $40.
Okay. Could you repeat that? The registration for
Okay. The registration for the soccer is $40. The registration for the domino is $40. And the registration for the soccer is $40. You can come by the disaster management and you pick up the registration form.
So you can register on the spot?
Yes, and you can register on the spot.
Okay. Have you exhausted the activities that you're having for the disaster risk reduction? I'm sure you have more activities. What, that training is the final one?
Yes, after the training, we all can take a vacation. Yes, I must say it has not been an easy venture to get all this put in place. Yes, Miss Wendy and the rest. Miss Wendy? Whitney, sorry, Miss Whitney. Oh, sorry. Yes, Miss Whitney, Miss Ian Fraser, Zakia, Chanel. It's really good to call the names behind the scene.
And Miss Nanton.
Miss Nanton, Zoe Bendito, and of course our father in the department, Mr. Brian Dyer, who says he will take an 8 months vacation. After
Not allowed.
Yes, just to let you know, putting all these, much of the ideas are original ideas. So coming up with an original idea, it takes a lot. You vet it, do everything within a short time, including marketing, including all at once. So I really applaud the department, and we've done all this as a team. So kudos to disaster management.
Before you go to, I know that you all normally do a lot of work, in particular with the primary schools and getting the message out. Tell us a little bit more about the program with regard to the schools and the hazards that you just spoke about, the schools and so on, adopting a hazard and so on. Tell us about some of the work that you do with the primary schools.
Okay, with the primary schools, what what has been done since 2016 was that the schools were assigned their hazards, and that's from January through to December. And with it, three things took place. One, which two of them which we had to stop during the time of COVID. And looking at things now, I think I may raise it up again. They include street interviews where students were taken to the square to do like a survey, asking the general public what they know about the hazards, what they know, on what to do before, during, and after, and also the evacuation part. And the other thing they did where we took them from department after department to make exposés. I recall they even went to the Premier's ministry, went to Ministry of Finance to showcase their hazards. And that was a very key approach. Secondly, there is another thing we would have been encouraging the school to do, which is going to come back. In the month of their hazard, they have to come up with some creative ideas. Towards the end of the month, if at all you are dealing with earthquake, we'll visit the school, and you have now a day during assembly to give us your activities about that hazard. And it has been going so good until when COVID came. So, and those things we have to pick them back again and again. Now, from next year, more activities will come in, like quizzes, school visit in terms of safety. As they will be unfolding, we'll let the general public know on them. But I would really want them to know the students are the participatory voices. Yeah, we thought it wise to utilize them. Instead of us talking to them, let them talk to us our messages.
Okay, when you cannot come to Von Radio, you cannot come to On the Mark. This is the hurricane season. Unless you say something about what is happening in the Atlantic right now, because I know persons were saying that there's something out there, and people are watching it, and what's going on out there with the weather. I am hoping that you can tell us as well that very soon the weather is going to cool down, because thankfully we've been getting some rainfall, but it seems as though when the rainfall, the heat, it gets hotter. I don't know what's happening, but you're getting rain on the outside, and inside it's still so hot. You step outside the house, and even though rain is falling, it's burning up with heat. So I'm hoping that the forecast is saying that very soon we're coming down to November and December. Those are the cooler months of the year, and I'm hoping that the weather report is suggesting, that the outlook is suggesting that the place is going to cool down a little bit now or soon. But tell us quickly what is happening out there in the Atlantic right now, if there's anything that we need to be concerned about. I know things tend to flare up sometimes, and then they drift to the northwest. Sometimes they change course and come back. Anything that we are to be concerned about right now in terms of in the near future and what's out there?
Okay, first of all, what disaster management will always encourage persons to do is to be prepared at all time, following that proactive approach, especially the fact that we are in the hurricane season. And sadly, even though at the early phase of the year they would have said the year was not going to be active, along the line that changed. Yes, they say, as someone said, they surely said, "I joke, me I make." Yeah, so, but in the meantime, while we are mindful of our safety, I'm not going to tell someone, "Oh, there's a hurricane coming tomorrow." That would be false. However,
we don't want to hear that either.
Yeah, we don't even want to hear that. Yeah, so however, persons should just continually, following the simple procedures on what to do before that particular hazard occurs, and just maintain your safety tips. Yes, ensure you trim your branches, ensure the guts are clear so water can easily go through and avoid flooding. Those are key things we'll encourage people to work on. And then anything that is going to surface as close by, we are not going to hesitate to let the general public know.
Fantastic. And just before you leave, I'll give you an opportunity once again to speak, just advertise that activity that is happening this coming Saturday the 14th. Whitney, remind us of some of the activities that will be taking place, what time it starts, where will it be held, and encourage the general public to come out and support.
Okay, it starts at 10 o'clock, hoping to finish at 6:30, but depending on the domino competition. So we have the domino competition, which is team play. We have the softball cricket, which is, also I forget to mention, the softball cricket is a two-man cricket, so two persons alone will be playing, batting and bowling. Five-a-side football. We have the shooting gallery, bumper balls, dart, animal ride, bouncy castle, match the item to its bin, first aid triad for the persons who has first aid knowledge, first aid scavenger hunt, and the recycle free throw game.
Okay, fantastic. Any final words from you and from Jack?
Well, in terms of the hazards, I will encourage the schools to remember again the very first thing: all the students should be with their PE uniform. And again, just for moral support, other students are encouraged to come to the scene to support their friends talking. And when you come to do that, please come on with your PE uniform as well, so we'll know for a fact that you are there to support that particular school. That would be an encouragement to your team. And secondly, ensure that your banners are well placed, because that is going to be the identity for your tent, and which will help us in our awareness that you are leading the message. Yes, then remember the criteria, look at it keenly so you don't miss the guidelines. Thank you on that. And secondly, for our concert, 7 p.m. at Eden Brown Church of God. For the training, in as much as we would have had the set members and Red Cross, the general public, if after hearing this you still find the necessity to partake, you are free to contact. You can contact me directly, 764-7567 for the registration, no later than the 18th of October. Yes.
Thank you. Any final words? With
Final word. Remember, registration for the domino, softball, and the cricket is $40. Everything else is free. There's lots of prizes to be won.
Thank you so very much. We have a call online. Maybe someone wants to ask one of your questions. Good evening. Call you live and on the mark.
Hi, good evening, sir. This is Brian.
Oh, yes.
I just came from a meeting, so I decided to give you a call.
That is fantastic. Your workers are here. They have represented well, but maybe you want to work them a little harder now.
No, we gonna work them harder during the weekend. So,
Mr. Dyer, you can talk about the health fair.
Yes.
Mr. Dyer, your Whitney is asking you to speak about the health fair, because they didn't say much about the health fair.
Oh, yes. Okay. We have partnered with the Ministry of Health to have some services on the day Saturday coming, Saturday 14th.
Yes.
We start at 10 a.m. We will partner with the Ministry of Health, where we have the Taiwan IDF.
ICDF.
They will be with us doing the blood glucose and body mass index testing. We also have the public health. I know there are some cases of dengue.
Yes,
so
I spoke about that earlier.
Yes, we will have some information from the public health department with regards to how we can keep our yards clean and minimize the impact of the dengue outbreak on the island of Nevis. We also have the Red Cross who will be partnering with us to demonstrate how we take care of the elderly. And we have information from the public health again with regards to information on pap smear and how the ladies take care of themselves.
Yes.
We are still working to see if we can get information on men's health, prostate.
Yes.
And also mental health is a big issue. So we will have some presentation on mental health.
And this is Mental Health Awareness Month, actually.
Yeah, October October is also Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
So we would have representations from that unit to provide information on how we can take care of ourselves mentally and emotionally.
Yes. So, Mr. Dye, it seems as though you're having a very comprehensive event, a huge event on Saturday.
Yes, the intention is to get as much of the population involved as we spread the awareness not only for disaster management and how we can take care of risks surrounding multi-hazard environment, but also persons can look at the holistic development, the health and well-being.
Yes.
Without our health, we are of no use.
Precisely.
So once you can take care of your health, then the country is in a wealthy state. So the intention was to get as much persons as possible and as much agencies as possible to collaborate with the event to make it a grand affair.
And I think you're quite lucky as well, Mr. Dyer, because I was outlining all of the things that are happening in the month of October. But in looking back, it doesn't seem so that there are many things happening on Saturday. So I think you're a bit lucky in terms of planning that date, because October is extremely busy. I mean, October is the month of almost everything.
Most of them is observed in October.
Yeah.
So we had early discussions, and we have coordinated with a number of agencies. So we just hope that everything is run as smoothly as possible.
Well, I hope everything goes well. But quickly, before you go, tell us a little bit about that double wicket competition that was held at VOJN as well. Because I know when you were, I know you would have been speaking about it quite a bit on radio and television as well. So just tell us a little bit about that and how it unfolded and so on.
Yes, on Saturday last we had the double key competition. We had 6 teams who participated, and we had the champions Drought, who had to defend.
I hope you didn't give Drought the winning because you want us to have a drought here next year. You know, we want rainfall. So I hope you didn't fix that so Drought can win.
For each team, they had to select a name from an envelope with the list of hazards.
Okay.
So in the finals, we had Drought playing against Earthquake. The Earthquake batted for us and they made 24. And Drought had to make 25 runs. They started very well in that the first over they got 21 runs. But then they struggled in the final over. And they got the winning one after the 5th ball of the second over. So there was so much excitement.
That must have been some excitement.
Yes. And I'm happy to see the young persons who came out and support the event as well.
Fantastic. Well, I'm happy as well because you know that competition is not something that you hear much about. Double wicket cricket.
Yes, with the under 19 cricket, we bodes well for our development.
Fantastic.
They're very talented.
Great.
I'm happy for that.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Mr. Dyer, while you're calling, I'll give you the opportunity. I've already given the opportunity to your workers here. I'm going to give you the opportunity now to encourage persons to support the activity not only on Saturday, but all of the activities that you have planned for this month of October.
Well, again, I just want to appeal to the general public to come out and support the disaster management in all our activities. We are living in a hazardous environment, multiple hazards, and we are providing information to the benefit of each person how they can protect themselves and their family in the event of an impact of a particular hazard. And we also build some excitement into the activities as well. So you learn and you entertain at the same time. So again, come on out. We have lots of activities starting. Well, we had a few activities ready for the month, but on Saturday we have the Grand Family Fun Day, and then we have also the minister will be giving his address on Friday to commemorate the actual day of disaster risk reduction.
Okay.
And then we have the Grand Concert on the 22nd.
Okay.
So we again appealing to the general public to come out and support our activity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dyer. I want to use this forum to just commend you and your team for the outstanding job that you all have been doing at the Disaster Management Office. And you guys are always there, always informing us, and always out there when anything happens. And so we want to commend you from the administration and from all of us on the island of Nevis for the outstanding job, the national service that you all have been doing for all these years. Thank you very much, and thank you so much for calling in. And I wish all of the activities for the month of October well, and I hope persons will come out and support, and everything will go well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd also like to say a special thank you to my staff for carrying the mantle when I'm not around.
Yes, which means that you have taught them well.
Yes,
and it's all about teamwork anyway. So when one member of the team cannot come, the other members of the team step up to the plate.
Yes, appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Mr. Dyer. Thank you very much. That was Mr. Brian Dyer, manager of the Disaster Management Department, calling in to just endorse what has been said here this evening. And of course, we want to thank our two representatives from the Disaster Management Office, Miss Whitney, what's the surname again? Glassford, Miss Whitney Glassford, and Mr. Jack Gumba. Thank you all for coming. It has been my pleasure having you. It has been the pleasure of On the Mark to host you all this evening. And once again, we wish you well in the activities for International Day of Disaster Risk Reduction. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so we just heard from two of our guests, actually three. We heard from one via telephone, Mr. Brian Dyer, and we heard from Whitney Glassford and Mr. Jack Gumber, who were here in studio with us, and they were talking about some of the activities that will be happening during the month of October for International Day of Disaster Risk Reduction, which is actually on Friday, the 13th of October, where I am asking you, the members of the general public, to go on out and support the activities. Of course, be educated. There are lots of things for you to learn, and go out and learn and have fun at the same time. And so I'm encouraging you in particular to go to the activity this coming Saturday, the 14th of October. It's happening there at the Malcolm Guichard Recreational Park I think it's from 10 o'clock going down till about 6 p.m. and go on out, learn and have fun. So once again, we thank our guests who are here with us this evening. And so we have another 27 minutes or so on the show, and so I will now open the lines. The lines will now be open for anyone who wants to call in, and of course I would have given a lot of information at the start of the show. If you want to react to anything that I would have said, if you want to react to anything that was said a while ago from our guests who are here, if you want to just call in and put anything on the table in particular, feel free to do so. And so our lines are now open: 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. And if you just tuned in, once again, you're listening to On the Mark on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse. It is the 11th day of October in the year 2023, and as I would have mentioned earlier, I don't know where the weeks and the months and the days have gone, but time is really fleeting by very, very, very quickly, and so we are almost at the end of the year. And of course, we're asking persons to continue to stay safe. Of course, we want to reach to December 31st and go over, of course, into 2024. And so once again, the lines are now open: 869-469-1616 or 1700. If you want to call in and put anything on the table, please feel free to do so now. And so I would have mentioned quite a lot of stuff at the beginning of the show. I'm going to just recap some of the stuff that I was talking about. Of course, as I would have mentioned, this is the month of October, and there are so many things happening during the month of October. I keep wondering, why is it that everybody plans their activities for the month of October? The month of October is the month of practically everything. And so a lot of things have been happening. I did mention earlier, of course, I'm the Minister of Agriculture, and so we are having some activities for World Food Day. If you are just tuning in, just going to run back through the activities that we will be having for World Food Day. Of course, World Food Day is celebrated on the 16th of October every year, and so World Food Day is next Monday, October the 16th, and so we've planned a week of activities for World Food Day. And if I can just run back through the week of activities that have been planned by the Department and the Ministry of Agriculture. On Monday the 16th, which is World Food Day, we have the address by the Minister, and that's on Monday, which is actually World Food Day. And we also have some staff devotions that's happening at Prospect at the Lawrence and Parry marketing depot there at Prospect. Of course, we know that we would have built that depot a couple of years ago in trying our best to assist in terms of our marketing of our produce. Agriculture right now is on high, and so that was a welcomed addition. And so we'll be having the staff devotions right there at the Lawrence and Parry center there at Prospect come Monday. Of course, in the past, even when I was the PS at agriculture and all the 32 years that I spent at agriculture, we would have gone to church many times. Unfortunately, many of the persons didn't show up on the Sunday when we decided we were going to go to church. And so we decided, well, listen, we're going to have the activity right on spot on a working day when persons are already at work. And so on Monday the 16th, we were going to be having that staff devotion there at the Lawrence and Parry Depot at Prospect. On Tuesday, the 17th of October, we will be airing a documentary, and of course we are celebrating World Food Day this year under the theme Water is Life, Water is Food, and Leave No One Behind. And I think it is very, very timely because we've been going through some very tough situations where water is concerned, and I think a lot of the times people tend to underestimate the importance of water and the importance of conserving water. And so this theme that we have for World Food Day 2023 tends to highlight the importance of water. Here on the island of Nevis, I know over the past months we've had some issues where we've had some water rationing where the water goes off at nights, and so we want to highlight during next week as well, during our World Food Day celebration, the importance of conserving water, and not only that, the importance of paying your water bill. And since I have the microphone, I think I can say it now as well, because during our cabinet meetings today we discussed the issue of water and importance of water and importance of paying your bill. And there was a decision that was made in cabinet today, and I think I can speak to that now. And going forward, I know in the past there was a policy where persons, if you do not pay your bill in 3 months, you will be disconnected. The policy, however, was not always enforced, and so you had persons who were not paying for maybe months, maybe years, and were not disconnected. We will seek to enforce the policy now where persons, if you do not pay your water bill within 3 months, you will be disconnected. And if you're disconnected, you will have to pay a reconnection fee. You will have to pay your bill and you will have to pay the reconnection fee. And so going forward, the decision has been made in cabinet. You'll be hearing much more about it in press releases, but we are asking you to please pay your bill. Water in Nevis is very, very, very cheap. It is dirt cheap. And so we're asking persons, because it's so cheap, persons tend to waste it and persons tend not to conserve it. And so we are asking you going forward. We don't know what the future holds in terms of drought conditions. I know over the past couple of years and months we've had reports where they're saying that this heat is not going to let up, and we're going to hope we might be seeing some drought conditions next year as well. And so we're asking you to please start learning to conserve water. And so this year, as I said, the World Food Day theme is Water is Life, Water is Food, Leave No One Behind. And so I've been speaking about the activities for World Food Day from the Department of Agriculture. On Wednesday, we are now down to Wednesday. On Wednesday the 18th, it is water, we call that Water Wednesday. And we're asking persons to take advantage of the infused water specials. We're doing that in connection or in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, the Health Promotions Unit, and they're going to be having water infused stations at different places around the island, and that is, I think, is also going to be dubbed Water Conservation Day. On Thursday, the 19th of October, we would have launched a school agro competition a couple of weeks ago at the St. Thomas's Primary School, and I know that quite a number of the primary schools on the island are actually taking part in that competition. When we had that competition launch, we would have distributed seedlings to the primary schools. The primary school representatives were there to collect their seedlings, and I am assuming that by now the seedlings have been planted and that the seedlings are looking well. I'm hoping that persons are taking care of the seedlings. Remember, it is a competition, and the judges will be coming around to the schools ever so often to see what you're doing. They will be coming to see whether or not you have been taking care of the plants, whether the plots have been free of weeds, whether the plants are disease free, whether they are infested with diseases and insects and so on. And so it is important that you, as the students and the teachers, take care of the plants that you have been given to be a part of that school agro competition. And so I understand that it went extremely well last year for the first time, and so we have decided to bring it back again for 2023. And so on Thursday the 19th, we will be doing a walkthrough. Persons from the department and the Ministry of Agriculture will be going to the various schools that are taking part in the competition, and we'll be looking at your progress to see what has been happening, whether you have been taking care of them, whether you have killed the plants. We are hoping that you have not done that. And I know when the school representatives were there, both the staff and the students, they were all very excited, and all of them were saying, well, listen, we are going to win the competition. And so we hope that you have been doing what you need to do. Of course, if you need information, if you need any assistance in particular, anything in terms of advice, please don't be afraid to contact your extension officers. There are extension officers who are attached to the various schools, and so if you're having problems, if you're having pest or disease problems with your plants, make sure you contact your extension officer right away, because we want everybody to have a chance of winning that school agro competition. And so we'll be coming through on the 19th to see how the plots are coming along, what the progress is, and that will be on Thursday the 19th. And then our major activity will be on Friday the 20th. Friday the 20th of October. Practically every year when we celebrate World Food Day, we have a major event, and so our major event will be on Friday the 20th, and that will be what we call the World Food Day Agri-Fest. And of course, the Agri-Fest will be taking place at the Villa Grounds in Charlestown from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. And during the Agri-Fest, we are hoping to showcase. We're going to have local food, fruits and vegetables, meat, craft, cosmetics, ornamentals, technical demonstrations and displays. So this is, in essence, will be a mini version of our agricultural exhibition that we have normally every year. Now, I know in the past, for some time when we have the World Food Day, it's more just about just selling food, and we have persons come, they occupy a booth and they sell food because it's all about food. I recall a few years ago we had what was called the Intercultural Food Fair. We would have hosted the activity down at the Market Street in Charlestown, where we had persons from the different islands come and showcase their different foods. But this year, for the Agri-Fest, for World Food Day, we're trying to incorporate a little more. And so we're going to have craft, we're going to have cosmetics, we're going to have ornamentals, we're going to have demonstrations, and we normally have technical demonstrations and displays during our agricultural exhibition, and so we're hoping to have those again at the Agri-Fest. Now, we're having the activity at the Villa Grounds in Charlestown. I know in the past we have had activities in the heart of Charlestown. I know when we had our fruit festival earlier this year, we would have had it at the Malcolm Gishad Park. We would have had our exhibition at the ETW Park. And so what we have been doing, we have been moving our activities around to these different venues, and this next Friday we will be at the Villa Grounds from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. And we're asking you to come out in your numbers. You know, normally when the Agriculture Department has any activity, it is always well organized, well executed. In the meantime, we have a caller online. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Good evening, Mr. Evelyn.
Good evening. How you do?
I'm not doing badly. I couldn't let you close tonight and do not announce Nevis Blind, Light and Visually Impaired Society is celebrating 25 unbroken years as a society, and we will be having our concert on the 29th of this month. Normally we would have it in February, but after COVID and everything. And the persons have been asking, and members in the society as well. So we have agreed for that date, and we thank the pastor of the church, our home church, the at Box Hill, Wesley and Holiness, because that's where we usually have our concert. And so the cost is $15. It's a Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And persons will be hearing more about it. And I'm not being presumptuous. We usually have good concerts. We do have good concerts.
But Jennifer, anything that you're involved with is always good, you know.
I try my best. I try my best. And this year we try to make it even bigger. For our 25 years, we'll have Alistair Doe singing with us. You know, he's part of us. And no matter what happens, you always come back home, eh?
Yes.
And so he'll be there with us. As Pastor Sam Corbin and Candyman sing. We'll have young Mr. Perry from Hamilton and his guys, the group that sing with him. Steel Pan music, of course. I like that, you know. I sort of grew up on that. Although old people used to think that the devil music and so. But then we'll have other persons, and we'll have an elderly lady as well, because this is the month of the elderly.
Yes.
Miss Annie Brandy. Come and hear the lady recite. We have a lot of things.
Oh, she's good. She's excellent at those at reciting.
All right.
Yes.
So we have a mixture, and we are going to make it good by the help of God. And so I'm encouraging the public. The tickets are going too. But then if they don't have a ticket, they can still come because it's just $15.
So how come you ain't sell me a ticket yet?
You must be too
why you so like to overlook your neighbor?
But maybe you're too close to me.
Maybe.
Mr. Evelyn, I have a ticket for you.
Okay.
And maybe you can even take one more or two to give to other of your friends. I'll make them. I'll hold. How many must I hold for you?
Do whatever you want to do.
I just do you 3.
Okay, whatever
and
whatever you want to do. You know, I always work with you.
Yeah, they look for our government ministers to support too now.
But we always support. We just support your lunch.
Well, you just come. Well, a long time I sit hear about them. They might say I can't see.
But you see, sometimes, you see, sometimes when you have your lunch, sometimes people send somebody to pick up their lunch too, you know.
Oh,
so sometimes even you may not see them, they may have sent somebody to pick up the lunch.
I know they used to do that.
Because I remember one time when you had the lunch, I couldn't come, but I sent somebody to pick up my lunch.
I know that. I know people do that, but we need to hear from them to know that they have been supporting. You know, and sometimes it's a trial but come somebody.
You know what? We have 7 members of cabinet, right? So hold 7 tickets. I'm going to make each of them buy a ticket.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think so.
You're not going to work with you.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So hold 7 tickets for me. And I'm going to make sure each of them, they know they ain't going to pay $15. They're going to pay $20 for the ticket.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
And what is happening here is that, you know, we have our scholarship. 3 children we have. And so because we used to have the concert in their honor, well, whatever left, you know, going to the kitty.
Right.
But they would have gotten their scholarship earlier to go back to school. And that would have come out of our May lunch. And so this monies we are gathering now, as well as our lunch that will be on the 22nd of November, will be to give persons throughout the island with disability. Because we don't just say, oh, well, because you're blind or you're impaired. We give other people, whether you're adult or children, something for Christmas.
Right.
And so we'll announce more about that later. So the luncheon will be on the 22nd. I know last time, as in May, we sold the fish lunches for $30.
Okay.
But this time, everything will be for 25 because it's our 25th anniversary.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, 25 years. And so we have not announced our church service as yet. And I'm still waiting on the members to say which church we'll go because, we have Adventist members, we have Mission where we go, we have Anglican, and
right,
Methodist and so on. So whichever one they want to go, we'll agree on Lord. I'm leaving out other people who go to other churches, but please.
They ain't gonna vex you, don't worry.
No, I can't call everybody all the churches, Church of God and so. But we're gonna try our best. The attendance is usually good. And this time we want it to be even bigger. And they don't have to question me. Then I always take part in whatever.
Well, I was just going to ask you if you're going to sing, if you're going to do a rendition. What are you going to do?
What? Well, sing. I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing a solo. I'm going to really sing a testimony of my life. I'm going to sing a testimony that will include the 25 years of the organization. It's not been easy. You want to know what the song be too?
Not really. Well, it's always good to get a surprise.
Yes. I want you to get, yes. And so, because that song really that I decided to sing is really that of my life. At 29, just about 30 years, I had to stop working, can't see. And after I had my daughter, my vision went. But he said, to God be the glory in spite of.
That's right.
We're still all right,
Amen.
So God has been good, Mr. Evelyn, and thanks for the time.
Absolutely. So remind members of the public the date of the concert.
The date of the concert is the 29th of October this month, and it is the last Sunday, 4 o'clock. The cost is $15. Some people is saying that it's too little bit. So if you believe it should be for 20.
Well, they can give you the $20 if they feel it's too little.
Some people think it could have been for 20. And so whatever it is, once it's not less than the 15, we appreciate it very much. Members just put in their money to it. Even if I walk to the door and they see me don't put in a ticket, I still have to give my money to whichever member in the society is collecting.
Okay.
To make sure all of us pay. So be a part of it too,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We don't just say, oh, you have to come and pay. We do our share.
Good.
Yes. And so thank you again, Mr. Evelyn.
Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to even a better attendance.
Yes.
And all things will be well by the help of God.
And congratulations on your 25th anniversary.
And it's time for me to step down, right?
Well, what normally once you're doing a good job, people don't want you to step down.
The public don't think so, and people in the society.
You're strong.
And
you're a good organizer.
Will,
And always the reward for good work is more work.
Yes. If it's God will, well, I'll continue.
That's right, and I think it's God's will and the people's will.
Sometimes you really get weary, like the road is with rocks to hurt your feet. So that's how it is sometimes. So, but God is good.
Amen.
Okay, Mr. Evelyn.
Thank you very much, and you have a good night. Thank you very much. And of course, we just heard there from Miss Jennifer Freeman. Of course, she's talking about her activity for the 25th anniversary of the Blind, Light and Visually Impaired Society, and that's the society that's been very, very active, and we want to commend you, Mrs. Freeman, for the excellent work that you and your folks normally do. You all are very, very committed, and must commend you. I mean, sometimes, it's difficult to get people to volunteer to do things. I did talk about that earlier this evening, and I know you have been at the helm of that organization for quite some time, and you've really rallied people well, so kudos to you and congratulations to you. We are running out of time, so we just have another 6 minutes or so to go. So if there's anyone else out there who want to get a quick call in, you can do so. 869-469-1616 or 1700. And since I don't have anyone on the line now, I'm just going to remind folks about something I spoke about earlier as well. Some of you may have tuned in late, and I did speak about the threat of the dengue fever that we have here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And of course, we know that if we have been following the news in the region and around the world, we know that dengue fever is something that can kill, and it is not something for us to play with. We have been getting quite a bit of rain since we've had the passage of Tropical Storm Philippe, and so the threat of dengue-related diseases in the Federation. The threat is real, and so we're asking persons to do as much as possible, to do what you can to ensure that we get rid of the mosquitoes. And we did have a release from the Office of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, and I'm just going to run through once again quickly some of the things that they are recommending that you do to ensure that we keep the mosquitoes at bay. And so the 10 things that they suggest that you do to ensure that we do not have the spread of the dengue, which is spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. They are asking you to protect yourself by using personal repellents on skin and clothing. 2, use bed nets if adult mosquitoes are prevalent. 3, wear protective clothing like long pants and long sleeve tops. 4, protect your homes by using screens for doors and windows. 5, protect your homes, schools and offices by disposing of the bottles, cans and water holding containers in an approved refuse bin with appropriate covers. Keep lawn, grass and vegetation trimmed. 6, change and replenish water in vases daily. 7, change and replenish pet and animal drinking troughs daily. 8, store all used and new tires in a dry place, and of course we know how much water these tires can hold. 9, report any body of stagnant water to the local environmental health department. So if you see a body of water any place around, please report it to environmental health. And 10, if you are experiencing fever, joint pains, pain behind the eyes and a rash, you should seek medical care at the nearest health facility, and that's at the health center or at the hospital. Individually and collectively we have the responsibility to do our part in reducing the mosquito breeding. And please try your utmost to adhere to these recommendations. And remember, I said it is caused by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, and they are actually prevalent here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I want to just remind persons as well that because of the fact that we have the threat of the dengue fever and the threat of a dengue outbreak, the Ministry of Health through the Environmental Health Department, they are presently performing fogging operations to eliminate the adult mosquitoes. They would have done some fogging. They would have started today, and they would have done fogging in the Charlestown area, I think in Furrock Road, Ramsbury, Government Road areas. Tomorrow they will be in the Bath Village and surrounding areas, and of course they're asking you to kindly cooperate with them. I know some persons have said they do not like to smell the fog, but we're asking you to cooperate. The fog will not harm you. It is intended to kill the adult mosquitoes, and so we're asking you to keep your windows and doors open so that the fog can get inside. Of course, we understand that the mosquitoes are normally most active between 5 and 7 p.m. and so that is the time when the fogging will be done. The fogging is starting in the Charlestown area, but I am also understanding from the Ministry of Health that the fogging will be going into the different communities, into the different villages, into the different parishes, and so please be on listening out for the notices on radio and when the fogging might be coming into your area. But in the meantime, until the fogging gets to your area, remember to try as much as possible. Keep your surroundings clean. Make sure there are no water holding containers around your property. Please try your utmost. Let us keep dengue at bay. Well, the time is up, and it has been my pleasure being your host for On the Mark for this evening, Wednesday the 11th of October. Of course, we say thanks to those who were here earlier from the disaster Management Department, and it has been my pleasure hosting On the Mark for tonight. Of course, we remind you that this show will rebroadcast tomorrow at 1 from 1 until 3 p.m. And of course, if you listen tonight, you can feel free to listen again tomorrow, because it's so good, it's always good to do it twice. So from me, Honorable Eric Evelyn, has been my pleasure. Good night, God bless, and have a wonderful and safe evening. Thank you. God bless you.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.